Greetings, gamers! I've been working on a new game called Incoming. Incoming is a 3D VR missile defense game. Protect your cities with a wide assortment of defenses against waves of warheads, bombers, zeppelins, and epic bosses. Wishlist today on Steam. Link is in the description. Greetings, Starfarers, and welcome to another episode of Starfield. Cobalt, Thorium. And in this episode, we're going to talk to this guy and continue to do all the missions around Homestead.
Come to New Homestead for the history, stay for the quaint charm. Hey there! Hope you brought a healthy thirst for history.
Wow, that's cheesy. Okay, I'd like to go on a tour of New Homestead.
Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just a matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits.
100 credits, sure thing. Or I'd like to, but that's more than I was hoping to spend. Or I don't think I want to go on tour right now. It's only going to be worth 5 XP or whatever, but we'll go with that.
Well, 100 credits is very reasonable, I think.
Sure, your tour is great, but you haven't really sold me on it. Or you could just take the tour by... I could just take the tour by myself, you know. We'll go with that.
True, you could, but I doubt you'll get all the information I'm gonna give you. And it can be pretty dangerous outside without a guide.
I'm sure your tour is great. You just haven't really sold me on it.
I know. I gotta work on my pitch a little. Maybe I could give you a discount just this once to prove my tour is worth it.
Now, you kind of pull the bait and switch on me. I'm surprised that there's no +1s here, but...
I assure you it wasn't intentional. I really should have been upfront about the price. I thought maybe you saw one of the flyers. Maybe I could do something for you. Tell you what, I like you. This one's on the house, but if you enjoyed the tour, I'd really appreciate if you'd tell all your friends about me when it's done. So let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me.
We have already looked around here, so...
Have any questions so far?
How many people live here?
I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds.
Really? Like every day? Can you tell me more? Why does it not surprise me that he does not live here? Can you tell me more about how people lived before all this was built?
The original Titan Astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here.
The overflow area looks cramped. What's with that?
Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy.
All right, let's just say that we want to check it in more detail, and just see how he reacts.
Oh, sure, I'll be here waiting. The locals love to talk with tourists, but they'll let you know if they're busy. So please respect them.
All right, we have looked through this already, so let's go.
Have any questions so far?
I think I'm ready for whatever's next.
Alrighty. We'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check
Oops.
out the farms.
Wrong button.
Follow me up the elevator.
Welcome to New Homestead.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost
Titans
would
are
have
hardy
shriveled
people.
and died.
You'd have to be to live in a place
These
like this.
pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
He's slowly making it past him. Maybe I can nudge him forward. Nudge. Nudge.
Papa, you're always talking about how important it is to preserve our traditions. But why do we have to farm? How is that part of our tradition?
Well, we tend to farm here because we need to grow food. And that's what our ancestors did on Earth.
But didn't they have big open fields and giant machines? We don't have any of that.
She makes a good point, dear.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists.
We haven't met Dr. Lakota, have we?
Any questions about the farms?
Sure. How is this different than anywhere else in the galaxy?
Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems.
What do they grow here?
These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well.
Are the farms still operational?
Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet.
All right. We've kind of done this already, so let's just move. No, let's do
By
this.
all means, go right ahead. Feel free to talk to the farmers, but I ask you respect their privacy and don't bother them too much. After all, they are on the job. Come back and let me know when you're ready to move on.
I'm kind of curious what some of these
We
folks
used to get more tourists than we do these days.
will say. Oh, that guy left. Or maybe I'm in the wrong one. He did leave.
Did you know that Earth had all sorts of cool animals?
Oh, here he is.
I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving home.
Sad, huh?
You got anything to say for yourself? Goodbye.
All right, let's just go.
Any questions about the farms?
I'm ready to move on.
Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking.
Nice.
But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase.
Well, that's one place we
Sadly,
haven't been
they're
yet.
undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here.
I bet this is where the heat leeches
Feel
are
free to
breeding.
look around, but don't touch.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs.
You keep mentioning the Titan Astrobase. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site.
What kind of life did they find here?
Funny you should ask.
Didn't find any, did they?
Sadly, none.
Yeah.
See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up.
So that was it? What did they use these labs for after no life was found?
Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage.
I'm going to take a closer look, or let's keep going. There's really nothing to look at, but we'll go for it.
Sure thing. Keep in mind, the Biolabs exhibit is closed for visitors, but I'll be waiting if you need a minute anyway.
I definitely have a feeling that this is going to become important, but it seems like it's kind of blocked off to us for now, so let's go.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase Biolabs.
All right, let's keep moving.
You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet. Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
And yet we still have not met Dr. Lakota, have we? Or have we?
The people here live a simple
Anyway,
life.
where were we?
Try not to
Oh, yes.
complicate.
Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astrobase. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today.
Why does it say over there? Are we not on this mission?
The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity.
Oh.
So, let's talk about wind power, shall we?
I didn't think Titan was all that windy.
You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect for sustained wind power.
Nice.
Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets.
Yeah, but the thinner the atmosphere gets, too. Anyway, what's so interesting about wind power? Why is this part of the tour? Actually, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't view it from the power station up above. That we had to all get on our suits, you know? Anyway, what's so interesting about wind power? Okay.
You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy, but these people were able to make do with it for hundreds of years. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work to this day.
These turbines really power the entire colony?
Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here.
There are some solar panels that we saw earlier, too. Let's do the closer look, of course.
Absolutely. Careful, though. I wouldn't stand too close to the turbines if I were you.
All right. But yeah, there's some, oops. Solar panels right there. So, but I guess that's it. I mean, we don't want to get... Like, they're not that interesting. That lighting effect is kind of annoying me, but I mean, the modeling is great.
So, let's talk about wind power, shall we?
Let's move on.
You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources.
Oh, here's where we go, the ice mine?
Rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of this stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. Though, of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She had this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right?
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. He just goes off on this tangent. It would have been funny.
Can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Fire away!
How can they shut the plant down for maintenance if people rely on it to live?
Yeah, it's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput.
During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs.
What do they do with all this methane?
Exports mostly, since this world is so methane rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, New Homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen via modern science.
Wait, how do they turn the methane into oxygen? Yeah, how do they? There's no oxygen in the methane molecule.
Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry.
I'm just trying to think of how that would work. Alright, let's take a moment.
Take your time. But not too much time. Don't want to keep other customers waiting, you know.
Yeah, you've gone off on this tour for us. It seems to be quite long for less than 100 credits. So let's go.
Questions? Fire away.
Actually, this one's on the house, isn't it? So it's not even 100 credits, it's 0 credits. No more questions.
Okie dokie, artichokey. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour.
So this is going to be
Fun fact,
the
it's also
methane
the
sea.
only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Ymir's Horn. This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here.
Wow, look at that thing.
So here it is, Ymir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like.
Ymir, who's that?
According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits. Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it.
How did this colus form?
I've heard this particular formation was caused by an ancient volcano. Something about steam and wind, then worn down over time. But I'm not 100% sure.
Alright, I'll be back.
Just be careful. It can get slippery out that way. I'll wait here.
Alright, let's take a peek. Ooh, what happened there? That's interesting. Let's see if we can run to the top. Whoa. Dude. Barrett. I don't think I'm going to be able to get purchase here. So we're just going to slide down slowly. Maybe I can brace myself here. Oh. No, I guess I can't. I can't jump off at this point. Okay. Well, I guess we won't get to the tippity top then. Unless we... Whoa! This could be bad. Uh-oh. Alright. I don't think there's any real reason to get to the tippity top. Apparently I'm not a goat. Because goats can climb up some pretty sheer surfaces. Wait, where's this guy? Oh, there he is.
So here it is, Emir's Horn.
Yep. Alright.
Excellent. On to the next stop then.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't show us the
We're
methane
gonna head
ocean.
back inside through the methane processing plant.
'Cause,
Try not to touch anything on your way.
I mean, it's right
Want
there.
to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. That brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
Alright, so we're going to go in through the pumping station. Have we talked to you?
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface. Can I tell you about the ice mines?
I'm thirsty. Can I drink straight from the source?
I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over.
Alright. Why not heat this area like the rest of the colony?
Good question. I I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told.
Is this where all New Homestead's water comes from?
Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves.
Alright, I want to go look around some more.
Of course. Watch your step. It can get slick around here. I'll stay behind.
I suspect that there's nothing new here. I'm not even going to bother with it, I don't think. So let's just move on.
What else can I tell you about the...
Okay, ready to go.
Sounds good. Let's keep going then. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony
Brown
is
Horse.
home to the longest-running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly
It's a little
recommend
weird
looking
that
into
Always
the
nice seeing a new
documentaries.
face.
They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants hundreds of years before it was established.
Nice.
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the Brown Horse?
I don't know, can you? What can... Okay. Any menu recommendations? That's a cute little, segue... Not segue. Whatever.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything.
Jeez. What can you tell me about the owner?
Anya Seattle is the current owner of the Brown Horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there.
How could this possibly be the oldest restaurant in the settled systems?
Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced.
All right.
Oh yeah, by all means. Stop in for a moment.
You know what? Maybe we'll grab one
Why
of
not
those.
order? You know, the brown
Just
may not
for-
look like it, but trust me, it's home cooked.
Just to make it so that it's more authentic. I want to get one of these. Actually, is there one that does XP? Yeah, well, I'm not gonna spend too much time. We'll grab one of these just because it looks delicious. I like pita pockets. Looks like it's got falafel in it.
Take care. Thanks for stopping by.
Gonna munch this bad boy. 'Cause we are damaged anyway. Nom nom nom. Alright.
That delicious smell is making me...
Alright, let's go.
Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop. Right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more.
Alright.
Well, that's that. I hope you enjoyed Starsap Tours as much as I enjoy giving them.
That was super boring. I feel like you should have been the one paying me. It was well, that was all right. It's very educational. Thank you. Or we could pay him 500 credits. I loved it. Here's a little something extra for you. Or it was all right. That was kind of long. I mean, it's like half an hour. I don't know. I feel kind of bad for having skimped at the beginning. We'll give him 500.
Oh, wow. I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Homestead.
You know what? I'll match that. Fascinating bits on the hydrocarbon Maria, the coalies, the fumarolic ice towers, the processing plants. Just loved it all. And you were so patient explaining everything, probably for the millionth time. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're going to the gift shop, right?
Take care!
Oh, well, that was kind of nice. I didn't like how he was, like, merging with the guy at the end there, but yeah, I mean, that was all right. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, we've only got one left. Speak with... I guess that's probably pronounced Juliana. That way.
Hello there, the museum.
Oh, this is the
Do you need
doctor.
medical assistance? I'll treat you if you need it, but please try to be more careful around here.
Is it difficult being a doctor in such an old-fashioned community?
Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here, and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive.
Are there any dangerous hazards to worry about on Titan? Well, of course.
It's
Cold.
a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much.
I could use some medical supplies, or I need help, Doc, or you don't seem to like the tourists.
I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people.
It must keep you busy. But what's so bad about that? Or, I'd rather not get involved, or sounds frustrating. I wish there was something I could do. Let's go with this.
The problem is that most of the tourists' injuries are from preventable accidents. Things our people know how to avoid.
Yeah.
And often I have to take care of them first because they can't leave with their injuries, so I have to put off seeing my regular patients. So not only am I working extra hard for people who have little respect for me, it comes at the expense of our own.
Wow, that sounds frustrating. I wish there's something I could do.
Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain.
So this is
I
disreputable.
bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan. I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief.
No, you're going to increase it. That sounds ridiculous. Do you really think that'll work?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't have any other ideas. The tourism board flat out won't help me, and I don't have money in the budget to hire additional help. And you know these tourists will believe anything they see and hear. I think it's worth a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm back to square one.
Tempting, but no. I can't see myself doing that. Good luck. No, no, that just sounds fun. I don't care if it works. I'll do it anyway. Go ahead.
That's the spirit. To be honest, I'm not sure it'll work either, but I feel like there's no harm in trying. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, act acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here.
No, it's gonna become the mascot of Titan.
I kind of want to try something like junk foods, but my papa says it's just a bunch of junk food for tourists.
Okay. But we have to do it on the surface, she said? Oh, jeez. Wear the monster costume. Alright, how do I get out of here? We should probably put the monster costume on the surface. None equipped for helmets. Could that be bad? Alright. I think we're using this one. Alright.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit.
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
I have a giant monster costume. Oh, this is hilarious. How do I get it out? This 4-leaf or the 3-leaf clover habitat thing is so confusing to navigate. Oh my god, okay. It looks like we go this way.
Why do we have to farm?
The people here live a simple life.
I might want to save before I do this. What if they attack me and then I'm forced to like kill a bunch of tourists? Let's save. And then I'm also going to set this as our quest. And then I'm going to put on the suit. We have incredible stamina in this world. This is going to cause all kinds of controversy. They're going to be like, oh, there's real alien life here. And rah. Rah.
It's going to eat us!
Ah. What are you doing without a spacesuit, buddy? Ah. This is such a cheesy, such a cheesy quest. I really hope something comes of it. Hello.
Welcome to New Homestead.
He can see right through it. Alright. Maybe I should switch out of it now. That's such a great outfit. Look at that. Okay. How do we get back? It's this way. Okay. Oh, come on.
Careful, there are some dangerous areas around here that are not part of any tours.
They're gonna open up the biology wing for this, aren't they? They're gonna be like,
Feel free to look around, but do not touch.
My papa doesn't really like me talking to the tourists, but
oh, I guess we go down this way.
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. You'll freeze solid without the proper protection.
Look, what can I do for you?
Oh.
Be well.
What was she gonna say? Look what?
Do you have a
I don't know if
spaceship?
we can.
I want to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so
Yeah.
cool.
If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety and my sanity.
Where'd you get a costume like that anyway?
I bought it from a private seller. They said they got it from someone who wore it in a secondary school as their sports team mascot. I guess it was supposed to be a tardigrade or something. Anyway, the person I bought it from modified it a bit so they could use it in an independent movie they were making. But I guess that went nowhere, so they had to sell it. Lucky me, I suppose.
Yeah, lucky. That's the word. I scared some tourists for you.
I'll bet they won't be coming back anytime soon.
I bet you they will.
Thank you. With any luck, I'll be able to give more attention to my regular patients now. Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll even let you keep the costume.
All right.
You wouldn't believe how many off-worlders think hiking the surface of Titan is all fun and games. But a lot of thrill seekers end up in my office.
Well, let's talk about medical supplies because we have some to sell.
Sure. We may not be as well stocked as other colonies, but I've got some basic medical supplies for sale.
Well, I'm going to sell you mine. So, because we have a lot of amp, anabolic injector. We don't need this much. We probably only need like that much, honestly. All right. So how do I come back and do this again?
Try to be careful out there.
So nothing with the heat leeches. Well, this might wrap up the episode. I don't know if there's really anything left to do here.
You get used to the methane processing smell after a while.
We do have to find 2 surface features.
I always wonder what it's like where other people come from.
There's nothing here. All right. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have...
Hello, ship. This place needs more decorations, don't you think?
And if you...
Hey, when you're not busy, let's chat.
Yeah, we can do that. You're interrupting my sign-off. All right, so thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have, please like, maybe comment, maybe share, maybe subscribe. New episodes every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, US and Canada. I'm Cobalt Thorium, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.